everybody.
Hello. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It's that day. Welcome to the stream. We went full-blown Tetris today with our countdown. I really loved it.
I love that.
I think it's great. I think it was great. But yeah, welcome everybody. Hello, chat. We are super excited to see you today. My name is Anya. I'm product marketing at Restream. And today with me is Charles, our video producer. How are you today?
Hello. Good morning. Hello from foggy San Francisco.
And from sunny Austin, Texas. We would love to know where you guys are watching us from. So let us know in the chat, in the comments, where are you located? And if you want to share more about what you do, what kind of streams you typically host, we would like to hear that as well. Today, our conversation is about pre-recorded streaming and how to fake a live on all social platforms at the same time. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and X today. So wherever you are watching from, we will see your comments in the chat because we aggregate them all. And this is a live Q&A session. So this conversation is primarily driven by your questions, by your feedback, by your comments. So don't be shy and let us know in the chat. And let's start with your location. Where are you today? Very quick housekeeping. We are continuing to grow our YouTube channel and we want to do it the right way. We do not want to buy our subscribers. We want you to share your love with us genuinely and organically. So if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe if you have not already. If you're watching us somewhere else, please follow. Consider giving us a like. Every comment, every interaction, every share really helps us. And if you find our content useful, we definitely would like to hear from you. Again, most importantly, in the chats and in the comments. But yeah, sub if you can, if you have not yet. All right, let's take a look at our chatters. So this is one thing that I really love about Restream Studio, the feature that allows us to overlay the whole chat. And I'm going to just jump in here real quick and acknowledge some of our users and our guests today, our viewers, I guess. We have Grant. He says, hello. Becca says, yay, stream day. There is hello from Paris, France, from Romario. I think that's our product manager of Clips. Good to see you, man. Hi there.
France today, is he? Man, international man of mystery is that one.
International man of mystery. Romario, that's lovely. Let us know how's the weather in Paris. There is hello from Bulgaria. That's from Max. That's our email guy. If you're receiving our emails, that's the one who makes them. Hello from San Antonio, Texas. This is really cool. Portland, Oregon for Grant. Mumbai, India. I am wrestling content creator. That's really cool.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Tell us more about your channel. I actually think, this is so cool because what we will talk about today a lot is how to use pre-recorded streaming to truly grow your channel and to help algorithms to recognize the value of your content. And for channels like, we actually power a lot of UFC channels. So basically like the wrestling, one of the best wrestling content creators out there, and they actually do use upload and stream, pre-recorded streaming in a very interesting and creative way. So I want to make sure that we cover that later today. So Charles, please remind me to talk about UFC and how they use upload and stream, since we have folks who are streaming wrestling stuff.
Lots of sports channels actually use Restream, don't they?
Yes.
It's quite a big thing. I don't think people realize quite how our enterprise solutions power an awful lot of back end for many companies. We're not just individual creators.
I think since we're on this, let's just go ahead and share it, since we have the person who is streaming wrestling in our chat right now. So most sports channels and most sports teams use pre-recorded streaming to repurpose content, like huge libraries that they have, right? So for example, if you're Formula One or MotoGP, you can basically create a marathon of content that you from previous races, from previous press conferences, from previous final interviews and things like that, and then you stitch them together, and then you stream that content as live during the time when you do not have an actual live race, right? Pretty simple thing. The channel stays always on, the viewers are engaged. But what UFC did was very interesting in a different way. They had a few very specific days, a very specific fights that they were very, very excited about. And what they did was upload and stream is they took the athletes and basically build a library of their previous fights and their previous, success and failures, and they created, like, stitched that together. And for multiple days before, like, the major fight that everyone was excited about, they streamed that to kind of build up the momentum so people could learn the history of those fighters and like see how they performed over the years. And
previously on UFC.
Yes, exactly. Basically, previously on UFC, but for this specific people. Like if Charles and I had like this kind of like battle coming up, and like all they did was like somebody on the channel created like the whole history of like what Anya did in the past 8 years at Restream, what Charles did in his career. Like that's what they would basically do. And I thought that was really cool. So if you are streaming that kind of content, like that's an interesting idea. Tested and proven by UFC itself. So check this out. More people are checking in terms of where they are. Central New York, I stream weekly tabletop RPG talks. That's lovely. That is actually also a very interesting case for pre-recorded streaming. So we'll definitely talk a little bit about how gamers could take advantage of that feature. It's not very obvious, but there are ways. And I'd love to talk about that as well and kind of like get your feedback and your thoughts on this. There is Zurich. Yes, Zurich, Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland, but to Lucerne, and this is one of my favorite places in the world. Like the lake, the church in the middle of the lake. Like it's just wow.
Lake Léman.
Yeah, I love that.
I have a good friend that lives in that area. Yeah.
Lucerne, yeah, it's so beautiful. So hello to Switzerland. Lovely. You're good so skiing. Lucky. Beautiful country. Good skiing, good lakes, good hiking, everything.
Good food, great coffee. You know, I remember getting really lucky. You can get a good quality, that's Europe, you get a good quality coffee.
Great chocolate.
A great chocolate, yeah.
Best fondue on earth. So, oh my God, I'm so
and
jealous.
Raclette as well. I had some fantastic raclette with the new wines that come out. Man.
Raclette, I think, is a Bavarian thing. So I don't know. Maybe a person from Zurich can tell us, how do you Swiss people feel about raclette?
I think it's a French thing as well. I mean, it's just hot cheese on, on
raclette
stuff.
Or fondue? Let us know in the chat. We want to make sure.
When you take the fondue and you put the egg in at the end, you ever do that?
I have not, but that's a great idea. We should.
Because the very last part of the cheese gets all, it gets crispy, and then you put an egg in and you kind of mix it all.
And then it gets.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're gonna finish this stream very
anyway,
early.
What were we talking about?
People are here from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Greetings from Fish Family. Yeah. That is awesome. Hello, Fish Family. There is Hey from Alex Bichak, our head of product. That's very interesting. Something to think about from the wrestling news. And yes, flown through Zurich Airport. Great airport, says Sean. I love that.
Do you know what? I love that airport because the announcements start with like a little tune that I swear it's like, how much is that doggy in the window? But this is a completely different. It's a great airport.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. And there's Howdy from X. Good to see you. Howdy. Are you in Texas? Cool. All right, so one question that I do have for you guys is, since we are talking about pre-recorded streaming and how to turn any video into a live stream, I would be curious if you yourself watched pre-recorded streams, and if your answer is no, I have a few surprises for you because you might not know it, but you probably have. Would you watch a stream? Have you ever done pre-recorded streaming before? And yeah, just curious how you feel about this, because of course, there is a reputation for that way of streaming as a fake live, which was something that we put on our thumbnail today, just to kind of like create a little bit of conversation around it, right? Like, how do you feel about pre-recorded streaming? Should live only be live, or does pre-recorded and edited version streamed live, especially if you still have interaction in the chat, also has a place to be? And here is the answer to that question. If you've seen anything pre-recorded streaming, every Apple event, right? Like every Apple launch or announcement is actually the exact pre-recorded streaming, so exact upload and stream. So if you are aiming on creating and producing content that looks like Apple events, upload and stream might be your jam. And yes, I am in Austin, Texas. That's awesome. That's where I am. Welcome, welcome. All right. A few things that we wanted to talk about from just what's going on in the news. And of course, we are still looking forward to your questions. We're looking forward to your comments. Let us know how you feel about pre-recorded streaming in general. Have you ever done that? Do you have any questions about it? What kind of content do you stream? And as we go, one thing that I wanted to highlight, it's not like super brand new news because it's from April, but we noticed that head of product of X mentioned multiple times that they are about to announce an order of magnitude monetization multiplier for live streaming soon. That's as creators are expressing some interest in terms of how can they actually count on return on investment for their streams, right? YouTube and many other channels have like very clear monetization techniques that encourage people to stream, and then they can actually make money from it. X is still figuring that stuff out, but it sounds like they are planning to announce something. Charles, what do you think that would be? Would that be like donations, ads from sponsors, bids? Like what is your best speculation?
I don't know. I really don't know. One wonders whether it would be revenue sharing or whether it would be another way to monetize sort of direct donations and things. Honestly, I'm not sure. It does feel like X is now pushing this a little bit more recently. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that it's going to be going to come direct from viewers, or will it be something around revenue sharing?
I do think that the probably the easiest and the clearest thing for creators to understand would be something around the ad revenue share. So you will be able to run ads on your content, and that's how you would monetize. That concept has been proven by YouTube and Twitch. Like there are many different ways to do it, and I'm sure that the nuances of that and like the scale of that would be like really interesting to see like how they would implement that. But I think overall, like if I were to guess, the monetizing through ads would probably be the most clear path for the platform that is already running ads for companies and businesses. But I am curious if they do plan to introduce something like sponsorships, donations, bids, and things like that, because I wonder if they're actually trying to create something that will be the best of all worlds, right? Like, so YouTube is really strong with ads monetization, while Twitch is very strong with bids and donations and support from the community. So could they come up with something that would kind of like encompass all of those things? I would love to know. I'd like to see if anyone, already is testing this, because I'm sure they have beta testers of this program. You're probably not allowed to talk about this, but if you want to give us some hints.
I mean, we touched on it last week about how YouTube is keeping their creators happy by matching them up with advertisers themselves. They have an in-house department, and of course, you can have automatically inserted adverts into your live streams on YouTube. Is that something? I actually don't know. Is that something does it happen on X that live streams have ads inserted?
No, not yet. So currently, there's no monetization of that kind, and I think that's what they're trying to announce. Currently, the only thing you can do as a creator is you can actually pay to boost your content yourself. But I do think that eventually what they want to do is to be able to share that revenue. So let's say if I'm boosting my stream, or actually if I am inviting ads in the middle of my stream, I'll be able to, basically like the YouTube model. But what I think about this too, and that kind of relates to the topic of today, since we talk about pre-recorded streaming and pre-recorded lives, I think that once this monetization becomes open to everybody, the pressure of creating more content in order to, especially in the beginning, to jump on that early wave of monetization is going to be so high. But of course, people have finite number of days and hours when they can perform and produce content. So I do think that that's where pre-recorded streaming and creating libraries and creating best of and creating some clever repurposing of your content can really come in. Because once you have an order of magnitude monetization option on a new platform where you can be an early adopter, you would really want to have a lot of content ready to monetize. And that's when creating these pre-recorded streams might be a lifesaver.
I mean, I don't want to touch on everything that we're going to touch on later, but it is not a new concept to restream, but it's certainly not a new concept to any kind of broadcasting. You think about a movie, it's pre-recorded. It's no less valuable.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they're best of both worlds, and that's kind of like a very nice segue to our next news. What we noticed, kind of like the conversations that are ongoing on X, is that there's clearly a tendency for professional broadcasters, right, for companies and brands to move away from high production product announcements and move into live stream, more relatable, more kind of authentic announcements. High trust, very real, sometimes a little messy with people, breaking things during the demos, like Mark Zuckerberg's Meta was a great example of that.
I've spoken about how you can solve that problem, right, with an upload and stream.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I think that actually in that instance, as much as I kind of had, tried to dunk on Mark Zuckerberg for that moment for my own purposes,
yeah,
that generated an awful lot of interest because everyone knows things like these go wrong in the moment. And I think that Meta has a reputation for things actually kind of working when they release it in the way that way that Apple has a reputation for things kind of working. But Steve Jobs had plenty of things fail in that moment.
In the moment.
It didn't
exactly.
hurt. It didn't hurt them. In fact, if anything, when you see their real reaction, when you see it makes that person more relatable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely beautiful. And I think
there's a place for both is kind of what I'm saying.
I agree. So, I mean, yes. So there are certain things that you do want to get right. And there are certain things when the human nature and just kind of like a little bit of authentic, vulnerable messing up has super powerful effect on the audience. So,
at the end of every stream, okay, when our credits roll and I'm like, oh no, was I okay? Almost every time I'm like, oh, Anya, was I okay? I said some stupid stuff. And you're like, you were fine. It was great. Now, if we pre-recorded, I can watch it back and I can cut out the bits where I don't feel quite so good. Weirdly enough, who does the cut downs? Grant and I. So I am able to go and lose those bits.
No, that's awesome. So this is our pre-recorded streaming product. It's called Upload and Stream, and it helps you turn your videos into live streams. If you have already tried that, let us know in the chat, and we're going to take a few questions from the chat. I see that there's a lot of different comments going on there, so we're so excited to talk to you guys about this. But yes, the idea is that any video simply gets uploaded to Restream, and then you can schedule the time and date for it, and then it goes live. And it appears as live on all platforms, giving you that live banner and just basically making the algorithms and the platforms think that you are actually live. This is epic for watch times if you're trying to grow that metric. It's really good for consistency and like hitting different time zones, which we will talk a little bit more in just a minute. But first, we're just going to give you a quick guide overview of what Upload and Stream is and how it works. And then we will take some of your questions. So let's hear from Charles.
This often overlooked strategy pulls worldwide views while you sleep. This is Upload and Stream. Streaming less often could be costing you growth. With Upload and Stream, you can take any recorded video and broadcast it live to every platform at once, whenever you want. Here's the flow. Open your video storage and drop in your video or pull it from a connected source. Now, once it's uploaded, you can click these three dots and pick Schedule Stream. You build a playlist or just use a single video. Now, add your title. Okay. And I'll paste in the description that I wrote earlier and choose the date and the time you want to go live, and also how many times you want it to loop, and you do want it to loop. Now, add that all-important thumbnail. Choose that one, okay. And then choose the channels that you want it to go live onto and hit Create Event. Your video is now set to live stream exactly when you want, to every channel and time zone you want to reach. No script fluffs, no demo fails or tech dropouts, just a flawless event, even with your laptop closed. Or you can hop into the chat and interact with your community. Either way, your climbing watch time will earn you an algorithm boost, even when you're offline. Give Upload and Stream a try, subscribe for more tips, and let us know how you get on. Cheers! No way! You can't write this.
That is good. That was funny. I did not see that one. But wow, that's funny. You cannot have that. Like, yeah. If you're recorded, you could edit that stuff out. No, that's awesome. Wow. Also, what's up with the shirt?
Yeah, I know. I thought it was funny because I made that video yesterday, and I still had the shirt out, and I was just thought it'd be funny to have the same shirt.
This is epic. This is so good. There's some really good questions in the chat, so I kind of like rushed into here because I really want to take some of them. There is a comment from a paired channel, which is marked here. What happens to comments during a pre-recorded stream? So the comments come through just as they would during your regular live stream. Your chatters on all platforms where you choose to schedule your stream to go live, such as LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and X, will appear as always, and they will actually get aggregated if you're streaming through Studio into the Studio chat section. If you're using an encoder like OBS, then our standalone chat application will collect them as well. So what you can do with this, I guess, is a bigger question. Option one is you can just let it be. So there is a way to use upload and stream as set it and forget it, right? That's when you want to create best of, some kind of marathon streams, when you are actually away. You want to be on vacation, maybe you're just simply unavailable, maybe you're testing time zones when you cannot physically be awake. And in that situation, you basically agree to ignore the chat and just schedule the video to go live, and you will not be able to interact unless you have someone who is willing to jump in. But let's say that's path one. Path two is you treat your pre-recorded stream as more of a help for the content delivery, but you are still engaged and interactive with the chat. So what you can do in that case is you basically treat your video as a video replay, right? Like as a hybrid stream. So something that's happening already pre-recorded is your core messaging. It could be your demo, it could be your announcement, it could be your educational content, maybe your course. Maybe it is the best of that you are repurposing from previous streams. But what you do during that time is you jump in the chat and you respond to questions. So now you won't be able to respond to them in the video because it's already pre-recorded and edited, but you can still type up some answers. You can share some links. You can drop some relevant links in conversations. And if you're using something like Restream playlists, the really cool thing is that you can actually put overlaying graphics on top of your pre-recorded video. So think of it as a hybrid thing where you created the videos, you already stitched up your content. So the videos are playing, but on top of that video, at any moment, you can show something like a QR code, for example, right? Like, so for example, you can show, let me very quickly.
While you look for that, let me jump in and say, so when let's say you've gone into the studio, you go to your homepage, you want to start a new stream, maybe you go into your storage and you want to schedule that video, and you schedule it and it goes live, and that video is playing out now live. When you go back into that studio homepage, you'll see that you are live, but of course it's not a studio that you're live in, it's a video that's playing. If you click on it, you'll get what looks like the studio, but it won't have the scenes, which you can't see down the side, but it will have options like the chat, and it's a box. And so your aggregated chat all comes to that one place. And so you can type replies to all the platforms in that chat.
Yep.
Or the platforms that supported, the platforms that allow us to integrate.
Yeah, I'm actually going to very quickly drop the image.
At the end of the video, I actually kind of...
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly drop this image in here because this is kind of what we see on the side. Like we see all these comments, that they're coming from different platforms, and we can star them. And this is still available for you when your pre-recorded stream is going. So while you won't be able to respond to questions with voice like we are doing right now, you still can highlight the question like I did here, and you can type up the answer in the chat. Or if there is any kind of relevant graphic or information, QR code, you can actually react to it through screen, just not through the people who are in the video. So and quick follow up here for Steph. This is fantastic ideas. I need to try this out. Pre-recorded streaming. Pre-recorded live streaming. Wow. Yeah. So as you can see, this is not pre-recorded because we can take your questions that we could not have possibly, predicted, and we can react to this in real time.
This time around, what I will do is edit this show into a little cut down, and then I'm actually going to live stream that cut down, which we've already done, right?
Yeah.
Is it time to discuss that? Would it be
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Absolutely.
So, every week we make a little cut down of just the highlights of the show, so that people can get that quick fix and just get almost everything that we've talked about, in shallow, not in depth. What we did, have started to do is to live stream those. So instead of just posting them to YouTube or to our channels, we're going to live stream them so people get that notification. So we get that algorithm boost. So we get all of the positives of live. However, it happens like Thursday night, and then so that I'm asleep, basically. So for many people in Europe, it's Friday morning or it's Friday afternoon. So we're capturing different time zones. Now, I could jump into the chat and interact with people, but it's 10 minutes. And because it's only 10 minutes, we loop it a few times. So yeah, that's really all that's really what I wanted to say about that. So this section that we're discussing now, I probably can't put into saying, oh yes, we're actually here. I'm going to have to cut that out.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Or Grant's going to have to cut it out. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, Grant. There are a few more questions that I definitely want to take because there's like some good stuff in the chat as we continue our conversation about how to fake your live stream and really get some extra love from algorithms. And actually, while we're doing this, quick reminder that we also have live clipping that's happening right now. So during this show, our team is clipping real highlights and moments from the show, and we're posting them on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. So if you're interested in clipping your live show into vertical highlights for Reels, TikToks, and Shorts, Restream has that built in, and you can see it in action right now. So if you're watching us and if you simply open in a different tab that same channel, you can find it in either short section or in our feed. You can see how live clips work. So those are the shorts and highlights of the event that's happening right now, and it leads back into the event. So it's very exciting.
Had an idea. Of course, if you're pre-recording, you can pre-prepare loads of promotional material. So you can actually, like the way that Apple would do, of course, is they send out a whole ton of notifications and, all of these people are ready for the live stream, ready to go. You can do the same. You can pre-prepare everything, and then you can start dropping shorts that are live and that point to your live stream.
Yes, that's actually something that we do before most of our streams. We pre-record like a little teaser. Like this time we were just kind of like messing around, just like, okay, what are we talking about? Like, what are the important things? Like, how do you say Simulive? And basically that short becomes a pre-promotion of like, hey, this is kind of like our dynamic. This is what you can expect to see. And that stuff is really powerful. And especially if you're pre-recording the whole demo, you can basically use that demo in Restream and cut clips from it and then distribute them as pre-recorded, like teasers of the exact stream that is coming, because you already know what that is. You already recorded and edited it. And of course, repurpose it later and even do some live shorts as you're streaming to give like a little bite-sized teasers and then send people back into the full show. Good stuff. I love this comments from here. There's comment from take the time to address the live chat because the scripting and video are already done. So this is super powerful because right now we're obviously juggling multiple different things, right? So we're not perfect. We're trying to multitask to keep going with our topic and show you the materials and the examples and tell you the story that we want you to hear about Upload and Stream. But at the same time, we definitely want to make sure that we answer your questions. So that's a lot of switching and jumping between different things. And it's a different dynamic too, because I have to read the chat, right? Imagine if you don't have to worry about content, how much deeper and more researched and more pointed with clear CTAs you could potentially respond to questions, right? So I love this comment a lot. Take the time to address because the questions in the chat, if you're pre-recorded streaming, because this is your opportunity to engage the audience at a completely different level, the way you won't be able to do it when you're multitasking with hosting the show. Really good stuff.
It's especially valuable as a solo creator because right now you and I, we can pick up on each other. I can give, while you're reading that, I'm now saying something and I'm talking and people are listening to me. They're focused on me. You now have that moment to breathe. Well, if you're a solo creator, you don't have that moment to breathe. And so, of course, you see frequently, I see people are like, let me look at the chat. And that does take people out of the experience and out of the flow. So
totally.
This is a great way for being able to, as you say, get deeper.
Give your undivided attention to your chats. And I still want to know about Rocklette versus Fondue, by the way. So I'm pretty sure that's our Zurich viewer. So I really want to know what's your preference. But as long as you make the live area obviously pre-recorded and take the time to address that, I think it's okay. That's about would you watch or would you produce a pre-recorded live stream? Just make sure the quality is top tier. I really love this. I really want to pick up on one of the themes here. That with pre-recorded streaming, if you are faking live, if you're simulating a live, I do agree with you 100% that the expectation for quality goes up. So if you took the time to pre-record and edit and actually create something that appears as live while it's actually edited, I do believe that it has to be very close to Apple event level, or at least it needs to trend that way, because that does explain why you would do it this way, right? Because
I disagree. I really disagree.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think pre-recorded streaming has such a higher bar of like, why would you pre-record it? It's because I really want to get it right, right?
No, I think that your show should be consistent. If you're trying to level up every time, you're putting an undue pressure on yourself. What people want is consistency. I think you should strive for greatness in all that you do. And
Sure.
And I don't. But so saying I'm going to put more effort, now you're putting more pressure on yourself. Actually, I think maintain a level of consistency. Don't let the bar fall because you are recording it. Don't say, "Oh, I'll fix it in post." No, record it as if you were doing a genuine live show, and that make it go perfect, knowing that you can put some polish later if you mess up. That's my opinion.
Well, yeah, that's like how I would think about this in terms of what does it mean quality-wise, right? If you're doing pre-recorded stream, you definitely want to make sure that your narrative is less messy, right? The interactive chat-driven conversations have a lot of room for, going off topic, like rambling a little bit, like repeating yourself because people are coming in and going out. I don't think you have room for that in pre-recorded, because in pre-recorded stream, if you chose...
Anya, I think we lost you for a moment there. Oh, well.
Yeah,
and you're back.
It did. Yeah, and I'm back. All good.
I was hoping that wasn't my end. Well, you know what? You know what won't be making the highlights?
Exactly, this moment. It's just such a perfect... Honestly, thank you, Studio, for dropping for a second, because that's a perfect segue to what I also wanted to say with pre-recorded streaming. There is no room for tech mess up, right? And this is the main benefit of using pre-recorded streaming, because then you never drop out, right? Like that's the value add. If you want the stream to absolutely 100% avoid any kind of technical hell, you pre-record it. And that's when, of course, the expectation is, if it's pre-recorded, if it's Apple event, thing, if it's a big announcement of the year, or if it's something that just cannot be replicated, like, I don't know, like solar eclipses, or, like big, like the race of the year, like the most important championship of all times, like big rivalry, like those kind of moments that just simply cannot be replicated again. You cannot do another take. Then if you pre-record and stream it live, you're expected to not be like, oh, that moment when, the Artemis flew around the moon, like we can't miss it, right? Like it has to be there. So
there was, what did you say when we were preparing to go live? You said,
you
can throw your laptop in a river.
I love my river reference.
And I was like, okay. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend people throw their laptop in the river, but
sometimes
will still go live. Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you feel like you need to do. But that's the beauty of it, because sometimes people ask, like, do I have to, if I schedule the stream, like, do I have to be connected to the internet? Do I have to have my laptop open? I understand that the video is ready to go. I don't have to perform. But what does it mean technologically from that perspective? The answer is, once you uploaded the video and scheduled it, you are absolutely free to go. You can throw your laptop in the river, go have yourself a margarita. You don't have to be anywhere around, because the video will go live at scheduled time from our servers. And that is what guarantees that absolutely zero technical hell, because even if you lose power, you lose internet, your laptop dies, none of that is going to affect your stream. It's going to go live exactly when you said it will be live. And there's beauty in that too, for consistency.
There was a TV show, long-running TV show in the UK called One Man and His Dog. And it was about sheepdog trials, like herding sheep. Now, the BBC would record that, and they would edit it over the course of an entire year, and then they would play it out as a weekly, series. But they would make the whole show, and then they would record the voiceovers as if it was live. And so it felt like it was a live show. It was an entire year old.
I know, that's so amazing.
So, no one really minds. Do you know what I mean? They even use what we call a lip ribbon mic. So those microphones on when you're listening to a soccer game, it's those mics that are really, really close.
Yeah.
So that they reject any noise around you. So they would even use those specific mics to give that feel of live. So it's not a new concept. People will accept it if you do it right, and if you are sort of, I guess, honest about it. Like, does it matter that it's not live? If you're, and then of course the beauty of live streaming is, as we've said, the algorithm boost, but also this internet delivery of content is an interactive community building exercise. And so you still, and this sort of was touched on with that comment earlier, is that you can go deeper on those questions, and so you are still building community, and that's something to bear in mind. That it's not like I don't think this should be viewed as fake. I know that we've been joking with the word fake, but it's not. It's bona fide. It's absolutely genuinely live, especially if you're asking questions, and especially if you
jump in the chat. Yeah, and that's when you do not want to throw a laptop into the river, because if you're planning to chat, it's better be out of the river.
I mean, you could be in bed on your phone, couldn't you?
You could. Here we go. Laptop into the river. Right back to square one. Love it. Great question from Wrestling News. This might be off topic, but do you guys offer paid consultations for streaming setup, lighting, and any other query around streaming in general? Wondering because your stream looks stunning. So first of all, I am so touched, and I love this comment because of course my stuff doesn't work. Yes, here it is. So those are hearts for you.
I pinned this because I wanted to say something on this.
Yeah, we did use a third party, a contractor that helped us to build my studio. Even though that was a big labor of love, and both me and our design team and our product team from studio were extremely involved. So we kind of like created this space with a lot of meaning and with a lot of sense. So I do have a recommendation for you. So if you reach out to our support chat, or if you find me on X as Anya Resina, or if you find me on LinkedIn under the same first and last name, you can send me a DM and I will share the folks who helped us out. It does take a lot of expertise to set these things up. There's a lot of YouTube materials and tutorials on how to do that. But if you prefer to do it professionally, I would say personally, it's totally worth it, because once they set these things up, they recommend the best cameras, the best microphones for your specific use case. And then you get to look stunning. So what did you have to add, Charles?
So if you can find my email, it won't be hard to figure out. Send me an email. If I can help, I'll help. I'll send you information.
Just on social media, like probably it's easier to find you on LinkedIn or right?
LinkedIn's probably easy. Yeah, I'm not too active on X. I'm there on X, but I'm not so active. I don't tend to check it as much because otherwise I don't like to go on X. I tend to get lost. You know what I mean? Like these platforms are so fun. But if you can find me, you can't hire me, but you can definitely. I'll try and be as much help as I can. Lighting is the first thing to get right, is what I will say. A large, soft light source. And then, that's basically, you can see that I've got a light behind me, as Anya has too. So I've got a second light. I've got one large, big light here. And then I often will have other things dotted around. Literally 2 lights, maybe 3. And one of the other things is an SLR camera into a capture card. The SLR is what's going to give you this bokeh, this nice soft background. Those are 2 things that, and don't forget the sound.
Yeah, don't forget the microphones and good audio interfaces. By the way, we do have a gear show and a little countdown on our YouTube channel. So if you look up the gear show from Restream's YouTube, we actually did break down in excruciating details. There were 2 episodes that we did live with
Budget
Q&A.
Charles.
Yeah, Budget Charles. So how to create a studio on budget, which doesn't seem like what you're going after. You want like the full-blown, like really high-quality setup. So it breaks down the exact setup that we have here with the links to the specific gear items, such as specific microphone, audio interface, camera, and lens that we have. So if you want to recreate our studio setup, minus the design, because that should be your own, you can actually find that in that gear show. So check it out on Restream's YouTube channel. Love that.
But it should be said. So it's the same setup that I record the YouTube videos in 4K at 60 frames per second at a very high bit rate. It's the same setup that I'm live streaming with. So this can be used for your live stream and for your uploads and streams. You can actually record in 4K and then do your editing and post-production. And of course, if you're going to stream it in 1080, you can then crop in, you can change the sizes and so on. So, start from a good lighting and then record whatever you want and stream whatever you want.
Good stuff.
I tailed off there, sorry.
No, good. So there's kind of off-topic question, but I think it is important. The question is about how do you invite your guests to the panel? New customer here, welcome. It's super, super easy. We do have 2 ways how you can invite your guests to join you live. One way is by simply sending them a link, and that will require nothing else but just clicking and allowing them to access their microphone and camera. And then they come in as a guest, and then you can have a panel discussion with them. Just a simple link. You can fetch it from Studio or from when you set your event, when you schedule it. And option 2, you can also toggle on pairing, which means that you're inviting your guest and allowing them to create an account and then connect their channels to your stream. The superpower of that is that now, if Charles and I are hosting the stream and I'm a host and he's my guest, it goes live on my channels, but also it goes live on his channels. So I tap into his audience, and it's a very easy ask for me because he's on the podcast, right? Like, it's great for him to get this extra content for his audience. It's a very simple, just one toggle action. And then both of our views get multiplied. Depending on the scale of your guest, how big is your guest, it could be really like 10x compared to what you would get normally if you did not connect to that account. It's absolutely amazing for any kind of panel discussions, because then you basically, at the same time, getting more viewers for your content and providing those panelists an opportunity to share something fresh and new with their followers. It's also great for co-marketing campaigns if you have partners, collaborators, integration partners, basically launching something like an announcement or a demo day and sending this to both channels, yours and the partners. Immediate double reach and immediate, like, less effort, because both channels get that cool, fresh, new live content. So definitely check it out. And you can talk to our support for more details on that. Yeah.
It's as easy as a video call,
Yeah.
A Zoom call or Google Meet, whatever. You send a link, people click on it, and then they join. It is that simple.
Yeah.
It does. I personally, if we have a big guest, I'm going to talk to them beforehand and have them do a test with me. So make sure that they have their camera set up high enough so they're not showing all of this, and the sound is good. And I might do a speed test with them to make sure the internet connection is solid. Those are the technical things. The actual physical act of getting them in is easy. And I pair this stream with my LinkedIn account so that I'm getting content. This is all going out on the Restream channels, but it's actually going out on my own personal channel. So I'm building my profile as a live streaming expert on LinkedIn as we go. So it's beneficial for me to do that. And it means that it doesn't count towards your subscription channel amounts, right? Because I'm logged in, I get to add that. So it counts towards my channel allocations, which
yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so your guests pair for free. You do need a paid account in order to unlock the opportunity to pair with your guests. Your guests can join you as panelists for free in Studio as well, but if you want them to rebroadcast on their accounts, you have to unlock that ability, but they do not have to pay. They just create a regular account, and they can connect, I believe, up to 2 channels per each guest. So if you have 5 panelists, you get 10 extra channels for your content on just our standard plan. So that's pretty cool.
They can sort of choose to stream the bits they want. They could manually turn it on and off if they didn't want a full day of content of an entire thing. They could be like, oh, it's me now, I'll turn it on. Oh, I've finished my section, I don't really want to keep broadcasting. So they can turn it off again if they want. So they have control. You, however, also maintain control that if you don't want someone pairing, you can go ahead. So and of course, a paired channel doesn't get to interact with the entire chat.
Yes,
I'm right,
it does not. That's correct, and it's also super secure, because once the pairing is over, once the event ends, that access that your guest or panelist basically allowed to their channels during that brief period of time goes away. So it's like a one-time window to rebroadcast the event to your guests and panelist channels, to collect the comments from your panelists, followers, and then once the event ends, it's completely over. So very secure and very safe to do. Coming back to upload and stream, you do have an option to pair with pre-recorded streams as well. So if you want to pre-record a stream and invite your panelists or guests who just cannot make it live, and you want to record this interview but then push them as lives, they can also share that and rebroadcast on their channels. So give it a try. That's really good stuff.
As live is how we used to call it in broadcast. We would talk about as live, but we're going to do it as live, which meant it was a pre-record, which is,
Yeah. Question here, is there any limitations to content that I can do pre-recorded stream with? So there are certain limitations. I'm just going to drop this image right here. So if you are, this is kind of how the plans look. So if you are new to Restream, Restream Upload and Stream becomes an add-on as of right now. So if you're just creating your account now or signing up for the first time, you have an option to purchase different plans. And those are the limitations, or I would like to say not limitations, but more of like abilities, like what you can unlock. So you have the option. It all depends on like how many hours you can stream. It starts with 2 hours of upload library. That is not anymore related to specific video. So you can have one video that's 2 hours, or you can have 2 videos that are 1 hour long, right? Like in any combination of those. So it's your full library. You have the limitation in terms of quality, right? Like you can have up to 1080p, so full HD videos, and you can schedule them for whatever time you want. Then there's Marathon that expands your library to 4 hours and also adds playlists and looping. And then the media plan is the one that allows you to actually schedule 4K streams and up to 12 hours of content. So those are your abilities with current plans. If you are on older, like legacy Restream plan, some of the upload and stream limits are already included. That's something that you can always look up in your billing, so you can see the breakdown or like what your legacy plan offers, and you can always reach out to our 24/7 support if you need some help and if you need to check out like what are your specific limitations. But we are definitely slowly but surely transitioning to making upload and stream an add-on, because we do believe that you should have the ability to choose whether you need this superpower or not, and that you should be able to choose like how your pre-recorded content will be structured. Do you need 2 hours or 12 hours, right? And like that becomes something that you build for yourself. Build
in
your
England,
own
we have a thing
stream.
in England, we have a concept for choosing candy called pick and mix.
Yeah,
so you have mix. All of the stuff. I don't think I've not necessarily really seen it here, except in like 1 or 2 stores.
Yeah,
and I think that's lovely. You get to pick and mix, self-serve the bits you need, which is what we always wanted with cable, but now it's turned into. Well, so I think this is a good move forward. I like how transparent you're being with the pricing there. I would say that the question to me, any limitation to the content to me says what you're actually putting out, and my response to that would be, well, the only restrictions would be the restrictions that are appropriate for whatever platforms you're going to.
The platform terms and conditions. Yeah. But I would say, in terms of what you can put there, there's no limitation. There are only limitations in terms of how many hours. Because if you want to stream a true marathon that's like 12 hours long, then it's just something that you need to. And those limitations are self-service limitations, right? We do have creators who stream 24 hours and more. That is just something that we package as part of our enterprise and custom plans. You can reach out to our sales team and talk about that to them. So the expansion of self-service is absolutely possible. If you're a large corporation and you need a lot more than 12 hours, we got you covered. Good stuff. Steph is saying, holy crap, Restream has come a long way. And that's a nice segue to how upload and stream and pre-recorded videos can help you to edit out words that you might not want to say. We're actually very comfortable cursing here. We do it all the time internally.
Did you see that? See the preview on Monday that we recorded? That was one of the most profane mornings I've had.
That was so good though. But yeah, it's an interesting use case. Oh, bollocks. Here we go. So holy crap, Restream has come a long way. And the follow-up to that is there's so many nuggets. I hope it's possible to get a replay. Yes, every single stream that we host here will be reachable as a replay, so you can watch the whole thing. And we also do a condensed version of about 10 minutes of the best of, which you can also watch about 2-3 days after we go live. And we also do little marathons. So next Wednesday is going to be best of all of our episodes. So
we haven't discussed that yet, have we?
We have not, but we will. We will start teasing people that there will be examples of pre-recorded streaming actually live right here. And that I like this comment too. And then we'll transition into showing you a few more examples and benefits of pre-recorded streaming. Pre-recorded or polished live content is still live. You want that campfire experience. But if it's pre-recorded and you still provide a substandard experience, it is unacceptable. Yeah, I agree. So that's kind of like coming back to the conversation of like the quality, right? So yes, you absolutely have to keep your standard. And if you choose to pre-record, you have to go either higher in quality or stay the same. You cannot go lower because then it does feel like you're just dropping the ball for your community, which is not what you ever want to do. So yeah, thanks for that. It's really good clarification here. All right.
Can I bring something up really quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely off topic.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Of course it was in Woolworths. Of course it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I bet you went and purchased your pick and mix from Woolworths, or did you borrow some? No, I would never borrow candy. Sorry, sweets. There you go. Sorry. Thanks, Reluctant.
Yes, yeah, that is Reluctant Creators. I love that. I love the pointer. The emoji.
I turned it up. Okay,
yeah. That's awesome. And yeah, talking.
I'm all about the cola cubes and the white mice. All right.
Good stuff.
Moving on.
I love
candy, though. I do love candy.
You do? Yeah. I'm actually like not a sweet treat person at all. Like I would always.
I can't keep it in the house.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. It's like Clarkson's Farm. I actually watched that. Not all of it, but some of this. It's edited, but it still feels authentic. If you are live, you're live. But if you are going to edit, you need to be to do the right job. Yeah, I watched that show. I thought it was really cool because I was kind of interested in what it's just kind of like so unusual because it used to be a car show host, right? Like, and now we're going to talk about farm. I think they did a really good job in keeping it authentic. I agree, even though, of course, it's obviously edited and produced. But that kind of content definitely has place to be. And I think it's really cool if you can mix and match. If you, on your channel, can provide like real authentic Q&A when you take questions and you're real, you're not edited and not scripted. And sometimes you provide entertainment that is edited and scripted. So yeah, I think that's a great example of how, of the reference. Good stuff. All right. So questions about setups and how to make sure that the layout doesn't change. So this is the question coming back to bringing guests and sharing screens. I do believe that our moderator, Grant, could help us out here because there was a video that talks about placeholders that we created, that you created out of all people. Maybe even in the same shirt. I don't remember. It is possible that you're wearing that same shirt in that one. But there is a video that talks about placeholders and assignment to scenes. So those are two videos, actually. So maybe our moderator, Grant, can drop those in the YouTube chat. We do have an option for you to pre-build the scenes, such as when your guests come in, they basically, your layout is already preset for them. And when they join, you can assign them to scenes in advance. So when you transition through different scenes, the guests and the panelists who are supposed to be here talking will be already nicely positioned. The same applies to screen shares. You can assign them to specific scenes. We cannot do that in advance just yet. So basically everyone and their screen has to be present in the preview preset when you do your sound check, and then you can make those assignments. But we are working on ways to create kind of like a more streamlined way to do it. So stay tuned for that, because we did get a lot of this requests that, hey, I want to actually send the links to people so I don't have to assign scenes when people join. I want to be able to send them one link, and then everything just gets in its place once each panelist come in. So we are thinking in that direction. It's not a trivial task, especially when you have 10 guests and a few screen shares, but that is in the works. Right now, just make sure you allocate a little extra time for sound check, which is good for you and for your content anyway, and then assign those scenes. As you build, create placeholders. As people join, assign them to specific scenes, and then you will have a way smoother stream to host. Good
what
stuff.
You're saying is assigning specific placeholders to a specific invite link, so that when that invite link is used, it goes into a specific scene or a specific box, so that you don't have to then go through and rearrange people. And I think that it's an excellent idea. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, as we transition between our scenes, we actually preset our stream as a slide deck, right? Like, so we have scenes where it's just two of us, when we allocate space for questions, and then where we already place pre-recorded videos or replays, just like one that we're going to play for you in just a minute. So definitely take advantage of scenes and pre-create your show flow like like a deck, do not edit the same scene over and over again, because that just creates a lot of stress for you. And the scenes were created to make sure that you can build your show like a presentation. And since you would never be editing the same PowerPoint slide when you're presenting to your customers or your team, you will actually create slides and then just simply click through them. In the same manner, you could use Restream scenes. And in a similar manner, if you are using Upload and Stream, you can also use playlists. So basically put each video as the next slide, and then when you schedule it, it will nicely transition from one to another. So check it out.
Plays into the consistency thing. So if you've got a video that's vastly different to the usual, it's gonna stand out. So consistency again is really good, and therefore reusing a studio or copying that studio and using that as keeping one as a template, that's going to help with that consistency.
Yeah. So yeah, the clarification here is I'm talking about placement of each screen and how to move them around. So yeah, I would say step 1, create those scenes so you know your flow. Step 2, add those placeholders. This is for media, this is for my guest, this is for my panelist 1, this is for me as a host. And then when people join, assign the scenes and seats to all of those guests and panelists and their screens. Do a quick run, make sure everything looks good, and then hit that go live button.
I mean, Anya, what you do is you have a bunch of scenes ready to go, and you're like, okay, I know that I'm going to want to share my screen at this point. So you will duplicate the screen share scene, bring that up. And so you have a bunch at the bottom that we don't necessarily use. It might be content that, if we're running out, we've got another topic to cover. Or are we actually going to release this today? Well, let's have a video. We'll drop it in. We'll put it down. Then if we get to it, we can play that video. And then you'll duplicate it and change the media out, swap it in. So I think that's a really smart move, actually. It means that you don't necessarily duplicate the entire studio. You actually are using the same one over and over and over, and just sort of updating it as you go. And it also means that things like common things like notes that have reminders to tell people to like and subscribe, those are already there. You don't have to think about that. It's like every time you switch to the next scene down of the introduction, it has a little note. It's like, remind people to like and subscribe. So
yeah, absolutely. The postscriptum scenes that I have are usually like things that I anticipate that people will ask. Like I have a scene that will talk about dual streaming, right? That we now allow to stream in horizontal and vertical. I have a scene that talks about pricing. I have a scene that talks about even like video storage. Things that I kind of anticipate, they just kind of sitting there as like a backup scene, and then I can pull it in. And I also see that Grant is responding to your question about how to move people around. A lot of guests' movements within the layouts are drag and drop, which I'm going to demonstrate right now. Hold on, Charles. Here we go. Like a very simple.
You see how the position of me here now? We can, you move me.
Okay, you're back.
We are slightly weighted differently, so I can move here, right? I can just and now we can bring our chat up, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We have weighted it in a certain way, because we know certain things are going to happen. We understand, that,
and you can transition between different layouts in the middle of the live stream, so you can like test out like different ways how you could, and a lot of those things are customizable, so you can very easily turn us into circles, into triangles, to like give a little bit wider angle, so you can see more of this beautiful studio that we have, which is not a virtual background, it's very real. So and circles are actually really cool to like cut off some of the noise. That's like an interesting way to like hide some of the background that might not be ideal, so you can like and still create this really interesting shape and form.
And you can actually, imagine if you were to take a still of this, what we're seeing here, you can then design an entire background where you know exactly where it's going to be in the studio, and then the live video sits on top of that. Alternatively, you can design overlays that go over the top, and so you can have borders and animations and all sorts of stuff, and maybe other stuff perhaps coming soon. Who knows?
Yeah. So the question is, where is that? So you have your layouts under your studio preview. So they're called like Showtime and Contain and Cover. So you can basically like transition between them. Those are just the layouts, right? That we're going to make Charles very, very tiny for just a second here. We're back. So those are kind of like preset layouts that we do believe that look good depending on your content. And then you have a little customize button if you hover over the preview of every video box, and then from customize in different layouts, you have like all kinds of variations and things, to the point that we do have some versions of it where you can have what we call a free hand, right? So you can actually move the person pretty much on any place.
Pong with me.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, that's.
And it should be noted that, of course, what's happening here, depending on where you're watching this, if you're watching the vertical stream, you're seeing slightly different movements, slightly different layouts. Like what's happening in the vertical stream and what's happening in the horizontal stream are ever so slightly different because those layouts need to be different. So that needs to be taken into consideration both when you're building your stream, but also from Restream as a point, as a back end, what you might feel is perhaps slightly restrictive is actually to make sure that you look great on all of your streams, on all screens. It's very, very carefully thought through.
Yeah, and it's also accessible to people who don't necessarily have like a lot of design skills, right? Like we basically try to balance the opportunity to give you customizations that you need to look the way you want to look and to be on brand and basically to be able to express your vision of how your streams should be. And for people who are like, hey, just give me the good stuff, right? Like I don't want to think. I want to be able to come in and do something that shows my slides or my videos in the best way possible and that make me and my guests looks good without me hiring an army of designers. So that is the balance that we're trying to catch here. And yes, the layouts that are preset help you to get there fast and the customizations help you to get a little bit more of your own flair. Let's get back to our upload and stream conversation. I did want to talk about algo. So there are a lot of conversations about how to understand the algorithm, you might be making the best content ever, but if there's nobody to see it, and if you don't have a good and easy way to reach your maximum audience, then it kind of defeats the purpose, right? So obviously multi-streaming on its own is already a great technique to reach more people because your audience is not going to be on one channel, so your content shouldn't be either. But there are other ways to take advantage of the algorithms. And we have a quick short for you here that Charles prepared, just going to break it down of what are some essentials. This is primarily applicable to major platforms like YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and Twitch. But of course, so those are some things that we noticed after many, many years of creating content and watching you guys create as well with us using our tools. So this is what we noticed about algorithm, and I really would like to dive into it deeper. So prepare your questions for algo as we go.
Place your bets as to what shirt I'm
You could
wearing.
be losing to creators who can go live every day. The fix is going live more without going live more. Many creators burn out trying to keep up, then end up skipping a schedule time and losing months of momentum. So record on your good days and then schedule a rest, because Upload and Stream broadcasts your recorded video as a live event. You upload it, choose the channels. Your channel goes live several times.
So something got reconnected, so we're going to give it another try, and that is going to be just round 2. The beauty of live, something that will not happen if you pre-record. Let's give it another go.
You could be losing to creators who can go live every day. The fix is going live more without going live more. Many creators burn out trying to keep up, then end up skipping a schedule time and losing months of momentum. So record on your good days and then schedule a rest, because Upload and Stream broadcasts your recorded video as a live event. You upload it, choose the channels and schedule the stream. Your channel goes live several times a week, but you only recorded once.
All right. So basically the core takeaway from the algorithm conversation is that platforms like YouTube reward people who are consistent, right? The more you go live, the more watch minutes you get, the more potential engagement you get, the more people can learn about you, and the more people can see your channel appearing with this really cool we are live graphic around it. So there's just so many different ways to signal to both the algorithm and real people that you're consistent, you're live, you have a lot to say, you have interesting content, you're going to be here. And algorithm really loves that stuff. But then the pressure of creating daily, to me, is unimaginable, right? Like, we're hosting the show once a week, and it definitely dominates the first half of our week because we are planning the show, we're scheduling the announcement, we're pre-promoting it, we're preparing the stream, we're building the scenes, we're preparing the content, and then, of course, there's a whole portion of repurposing afterwards. So it's a lot of work to create this kind of like content machine. And what really helps is to think about how your content could work for you without like optimizing and maximizing your time, right? So you don't have to constantly be live and constantly producing, because it's a really hard race to win. And especially if your content is more like a professional content, when you are kind of tied to product announcements and company news, or even sports events or things that actually have to happen in order for you to have something to talk about. That is when repurposing content, creating and recording at the time when you have time, and then feeding the algorithm that consistency is something that we see as a powerful hack. To the point that we changed how we upload our videos. So not only we go live every single Wednesday, but now our recap that we used to just upload as a regular video, now we actually schedule to go live. Is that right, Charles? We started this last week, and it went pretty well. Yeah, we got the same viewership.
Well. I didn't check the analytics this morning, but moments after it had gone live, I saw that the analytics were, we'd had some good viewers on it. So it means that it was definitely capturing people from another time zone. They were getting it, they were watching it live in Europe, I suspect. I haven't doubled down on looking at those analytics on that particular video, but that's the plan going forward, is to live stream it so that we get that badge. And so, as you say, we get that algorithm boost.
Yeah, I am going to take a few screenshots of that badge from our streams and our channels right now, so you can see exactly what we are talking about. But I do want to take another question.
Well, we were talking, while you find that question, we were talking about the how X is leaning into live and revenue sharing, or possibly increasing their monetization. And if you just need to look, within the industry, people are really waking up, not just to video content, but to live content. It's becoming an industry that is becoming an industry in its own, and it's now that media professionals are expected to understand live streaming along with marketing and content creation. It's becoming another string to your bow. And that I think that being able to upload and stream is going to alleviate some of the pressures involved with production for some of those teams. I think that this means that people can get, it's a very easy access to live streaming, because it takes a certain talent, someone like yourself, to actually be able to hold together a coherent live stream. And it's a talent, and it's a muscle that needs to be grown and flexed. And so being able to upload and stream is going to alleviate a lot of the concerns and the pressure of actually having to go live.
I'm going to do a ton of screenshots right now, because I think it's like super important. I really want you guys to see what we're talking about while we are on the topic of algorithm, because just as you look at the examples of how your videos look different, and like how your channel looks different, right? Like, so this, for example, is a quick screenshot of our X. So if someone just comes in to our X channel right now, it has this big purple, pink, neon, magenta thing around it that says live, right? Like it encourages you. And if you hit on our logo, it will actually open up this stream right now for you. So imagine, typically when you think about social platforms, you think about like what kind of special banners and special like things and highlights and special tags you can get. And most of the time it's like sponsored stuff, right? Like you have to be allocating like ads budgets in order to get this like standing out, like special little like flickering thing. But live just does it for you for free. And it doesn't end at X, of course. It does look similar on YouTube. So for example, this is the look of our channel. When you are just entering our YouTube, you see like there's this live highlights. Like that's just the home channel, right? Like you just entered YouTube on Restream, and this is how it appears. And we do have two different streams, because one of them is vertical and one of them is horizontal. And this is more of a, like, if you're looking at the feed, so like let's say you have multiple different, I actually should take this screenshot differently. Let me go back to my YouTube feed. I just had like a bunch of weird recommendations there, but okay, we'll just have to deal with it.
But of course, if you're going to be live streaming, and you're live streaming vertically as well as horizontally, as you were showing just there, you'll notice that when you're scrolling through YouTube Shorts, you will get served up live content. And sometimes I'm like, oh, it's actually live.
Yeah.
You won't be appearing in those YouTube Shorts feeds as a live stream unless you are live streaming.
Exactly.
So,
and I will show you the feed too. Yeah, so it's whatever YouTube recommended to me. I don't know where it gets ideas. It's obviously clearly Restream channel, but can you see the difference? Like how Restream channel really stands out in that? That's just YouTube Home, right? Like I went to YouTube. It's all the content that you can see, and then there's only one channel that has this pink purple circle that says live that really stands out of all the videos that I am seeing on my initial page of like, hey, this is some ideas of what you could watch. So it immediately gets your attention, immediately gets your eye. And again, as a reminder, this is not something that you have to pay for. This is just organic, natural promotion by the channel, by the platform. And this is again on the feeds, right? So of course we all know that being in a place that like keeps you helps you stand out is always good. So here is the look of our Restream, basically live feed, right? And you can see that our live is on top. It is generating some views today, 4.8K.
You can see
That's
also,
really good.
Look down the side. The people that are being recommended are the ones that are live right there. There's a whole bunch of them right there.
Absolutely. And some of them are our rebroadcast. I can see Alex Kuda, our CEO, is Q&A session with Restream about Sumo Live, Restream Q&A.
They don't know. They don't know that those are paired streams. So it's just saying, hey, look, these are people that you know, and they are on people that you should know, and they are live right now. It's really, especially on that background. Look at that. It really stands out.
It really stands out. And it's just like that pink live. Like imagine people are designing really bright and standing out logos, and they create all this content in order to stand out. And a lot of times to get this special placement in something like this on top of everything on your channel, like it's a paid promotion, but this is simply going live. And as we're sharing today with Upload and Stream, it doesn't even have to be, because if you schedule your pre-recorded stream as live using Restream product, it's going to appear exactly like this while you are enjoying your margarita. So on that positive note, I did want to talk a little bit about the time zones as well. So another massive benefit of pre-recorded streaming is that you can try to hit the audience that will not be awake when you are awake, and the other way around, right? And this is super cool because understanding algorithm is all about testing. I do believe that in order to understand what works for you, for your channel, for your content, for your audiences, you need to run different experiments and different things all the time. And testing different time zones is not a trivial task for people who have families, people who have jobs, people who have just limited amount of time in their life to produce content. So Upload and Stream really lets you test the time zones and the regions where normally you wouldn't go live and like make decisions from there. And this is how.
We're a worldwide company with a big chunk of our community and employees in Europe. While they're up and about, Anya and I are counting sheep. Now, going live at 3 a.m. is just not realistic or sustainable, but we're not like most creators, just giving up on those time zones. Instead, we cut down our 90-minute weekly live stream and rebroadcast it at night. With Upload and Stream, we schedule the recorded cut to go live in any time zone on every platform. So this Sunday night, we pulled in some real views while we were sleeping, and now I'm going to test other days and channels and maybe even vertical cuts to find out how and where our audience actually wants to watch.
So that's another benefit of pre-recorded streaming is that you can actually test the time zones and time periods that you normally would not be able to hit. It's very simple, but it's yet very powerful, because the alternative is to stay up in the middle of the night, which is not the best. I do want to take a few questions from here because we do have some really good ones, some comments and some questions. One is from the Wrestling News. Thank you very much for taking my question. You're both very kind to offer help. I'll definitely reach out. Absolutely do that. We would love to help to give you the most beautiful setup that exists out there. And I know Charles was volunteering more than anybody else. I will definitely.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about gear. And we definitely invite you to watch our gear tutorial. Here's a hot take from X. I always thought the purpose of live stream was to have a conversation with your community. I can't see how we could accomplish this with pre-recorded live stream unless you unleash your own digital twin.
Announcing today, digital twins.
Digital twin. Yeah, of course
Upload
that's happening. Yeah. Oh my God. Upload and twin. Yeah.
It's a great point. We've touched on this, but it's a great point. Yes, of course. Absolutely. That's one of the key things about, what I would say probably the main thing about live streaming is, of course, is the conversation with your community and community building. But I think that what we're trying to get across here is you can still interact, and you can do it whilst you're, sitting in the bath on your phone. Just don't drop your phone in the bath, although the stream won't drop. But yeah, it's a great point, and that's absolutely one of the things we're trying to get across, is that the chat is still live, and you can just get in there and still interact. And I think that if you are open and honest with your community, I don't think people will have a problem with it, would they?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think you kind of have to know your staff and your community and the type of interactions that they expect. I think for some people, when we do our pre-recorded best of streams, we are pretty clear that this is repurposing, and we actually make fun of it. We created a fun short that, like, hey, Anya's going on vacation, so she's not going to be here. We cannot physically host, so we will do the second best thing, which is going to be the collection of best of episodes, and then Charles will be in chat, interacting and responding questions and dropping links. So there is this engagement component. It's just not going to be through video. Now, potentially, for some communities, if your streams are extremely interactive, which ours are, as you can see, the questions in the chat drive 80% of our content. We do have some stuff that we prepare for you to make our points, because it's just easier to give you like a cool guide that is very nice and edited and like doesn't have a lot of like rumbling and mumbling. But we do prioritize content. Is that not a thing? Not your guys.
Or stream drops,
or stream drops, exactly, or technical issues. So we do love to create those for you, but then we heavily prioritize the chat, because we do believe exactly the same thing as you mentioned, that interactions, live questions, back and forth are the core drivers of this community building. And those are the things that people will remember. Those are the things that are the most important to us. That's why we ask you to continue dropping your questions and thoughts and feature requests and feedback, anything you want to share. We love those things. We actually very carefully look at the chats after. With Neurostream Analytics, we actually have the record of all the chats and messages that we receive. So we go through them very like religiously, and we figure out which part of those need to go to our product team so they could continue building and improving our product, which parts are going to marketing team, because people are asking questions that we clearly didn't do a good job educating and explaining. I think we had a lot of great questions today about how to bring in panelists and how to organize the layouts. That to me means that we absolutely have to do a refresher on layouts and customizations of layouts. We did release some tutorials, and there are some guides that you can find on our channel, but we absolutely need to do a demo where we can invite different people, show how we assign scenes, and kind of like refresh that information. So that is driving our decisions on what we are marketing, what we are building, and also sometimes it just determines what kind of show we're going to have. It has been many times when we asked, what kind of content do you want to see? And people would vote for gear. They will want to see something that talks about how to monetize your streams, or how to generate leads from live video, how to do live shopping and live selling, if that's possible through Restream. And those things are literally on our roadmap and on our list to create and to live stream and to talk about later. So it is definitely a combination. Upload and stream is just one of those things that can give you that competitive edge. Because at some point, we all will have to admit that we're human and we cannot be live 24/7. We will also have to admit that channels and platforms do support always-on channels and consistency and content that channels and brands that produce a lot of content. So that is just one of the ways to stay true to your community and always show up for them in real time, but also take advantage of the algorithm and actually grow your community the way that platforms kind of encourage and push you to grow, which is produce more, go live more.
And we're not presenting this as the only solution. This is a solution. This is a tool. This is being presented to you today as something that we use. Here's how we use it. This is what we think you could use it for. It may not be right for you. It may not be, which is why there is this now self-serve sort of, pick your own, choose your own adventure price. Is that it may not work for you. It may not be right for your channel, but here it is. It's great. It works really well. And I have a comment that I wanted to talk about using local recordings, because I think into that. Is now a good time, or should we talk about it later?
Yeah, we can talk about local recordings right now for sure.
So, because as you know, I'm always banging on about local recordings. And of course, the Restream Studio allows you to go live, but it allows you to record. Now, I can do local recordings, which we are doing now as we record this show, as we're broadcasting the show. It is being recorded in high quality locally on our machines and then uploaded simultaneously in the background to our cloud system. So then I can download all of those clean recordings of just my camera, just Anya's camera, and the separate screen shares and the separate sound files. And then once I download those, I can re-edit them. So actually, when I re-edit this show, when Grant and I cut this show down, we have access to the full width cameras. It doesn't have to be, I'm not just chopping up what you're seeing right now, which means you can level up with very little effort. So you can actually just take that live stream, or you can, if you wanted to pre-record something, you can still do it in the studio with all of the tools that the studio offers. You're just not actually broadcasting at that moment. So you're keeping the same experience for yourself also. So it feels the same. It's not like you have to set up your camera and lights differently. You don't have to do anything different. You can still invite all your guests. And you can record it just the way you would record a podcast or whatever. And then you download those local recordings, do any of the post-production, which is a cinch because I'm really rambling. But when you download your local recordings, it comes with an XML file, which you can just import into your video editor, and it syncs everything up, which is beautiful. So
Chef's
there you go.
Kiss.
There's my I love local records.
You know what I love, especially about the aggregated chat and like the chat tool that we have. So we just showed the comment from X, right, where there was some absolutely valid skepticism about like what's the point of live if it's not actually live, which we expected during this conversation, right? That's why we named it Fake Lives. That some people and some communities expect you to be there in real time, and that is the only life that they would accept. And yet, I love that the response to that comment from X, right here from Thak, was from LinkedIn. And I love how basically Steph is responding to that comment from a completely different platform. And think about that in terms of community and engagement and like this cross-platform global cross-pollination of things, right? So Steph is saying there's a real advantage to pre-recorded live streams when it comes to engaging my community in particular, to concentrate on content delivery while recording the live stream and then answer the questions during the live stream when I have the time to actually engage with the community watching the pre-recorded live stream. So that is the response of, would that be still real and authentic? Yes, because you just polish your delivery, but you are still there to interact with them, acknowledge them. And especially if you're streaming a playlist, so basically you stitched your videos together, you started them in studio, you can actually show comments on top of your content to acknowledge people, to showcase that, hey, I see your comments, I see your questions. And then, yes, you won't be able to make your edited version to answer them with voice, but you can answer them in the chat. But you absolutely can make them part of the visual experience as well if you're using playlists in studio. So I really love this dynamic of folks talking to people from LinkedIn and then people from YouTube chiming in. So I just wanted to really, really savor and enjoy this moment because that is what Restream is about. That's what multi-streaming with chat aggregated comments could do for you. It could bring people from different worlds like X and LinkedIn together and have a conversation through your video and your channel. So
of course, you might think of a better answer.
Yeah.
Like imagine
absolutely.
You and I are having this conversation now, and then you're like later, you're like, you know what? I misinterpreted that question, or it happens to me frequently. I'm like, here's what I should have said.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a moment for you to. And also, here's the thing. This is something we haven't touched on. You're getting to watch yourself live, which is a huge, huge component of getting better. If you are not watching back what you're doing, then you are actually failing as a presenter or as a host.
I actually would love to ask folks in the chat, do you rewatch your videos? Do you watch your streams, and how you feel about this? Because I know that people have very strong feelings about seeing themselves or hearing themselves in audio, right? Most of us do not like to hear our own voice recorded. Most of us feel a little uncomfortable watching ourselves back. And especially if it's something non-scripted and authentic. A lot of times I even watch our own shorts that I have to review. It's my job. I can't get out of it. And I'm kind of like, oh my God, what am I saying? Like, why did I mess up this word? Like, what does that sound? Like, what is this? Like, what am I doing there? But I do believe that that is absolutely essential for learning and for getting better at what you do. And I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Do you rewatch your streams? And would doing a pre-recorded stream when you're actually jumping in the chat and engaging with your community be an easier and better way to do it? Because you can kind of sort of put yourself in the position of your audience, right? Experience that as a viewer and yet provide your commentary and provide your engagement in the chat. So I think it's a very cool thing to notice.
Yeah. If anyone's ever done any media training, you absolutely get filmed. You film that person and you force them to watch themselves. I have to look at myself all day, every day, which is it's an odd
blessing and a curse.
What's that?
A blessing and a curse at the same time.
I mean, how many, you got to be a special kind of vein to sit there going, oh, I love watching myself all day, but I have to do it because it's my job. And so I've had to become comfortable with it in the same way that you become comfortable with getting feedback from people on any artistic pursuit or creative pursuit. You need to take that on board. And I think that it's really important to try to watch yourself with an objective eye. And I think what you'll find is you're probably better than you think you are. I think most people are their own harshest critic.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
They're watching something different in themselves than other people are watching in themselves.
Yeah. And here are some answers to that question. Videos, yes. Streams, no. That's a very expected response to this. I would watch my edited video, but not the live stream. So this is when upload and stream could be an opportunity for you for the first time to see yourself as a live creator, right? Especially if you don't necessarily pre-record and edit specifically for the stream, but if you just repurpose one of the streams you've done in the past and schedule it to go live at a different time or at a different day, then you can join as a viewer and truly have the experience of someone watching yourself as you perform live. Because I guarantee you, the way you are live is very different from the way you are in edited, scripted video recordings. So take advantage of that. Check that out. It is really cool. But some people are not shy. They're like, I'm watching myself all the time because I need to improve. And that is brave and cool.
Something that I have found is that I was like, okay, I'm looking at this monitor. I'm looking at this monitor. I'm not looking at the audience enough. So I have made this conscious effort I've actually have a Post-it note above my camera lens with a smiley face. And it's on a big pink Post-it note. And it was reminding me to look at the audience because that's who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to an audience. I'm speaking to you. And I don't know if I would have necessarily picked that up had I not had to been forced to watch, a lot of the content.
Yeah, absolutely. Camera shy, definitely a problem for content creators. And the only way to overcome it is to keep doing it and to get comfortable with watching it. Which Grant knows. He says, all the time I do the editing and I got used to hearing my voice really fast. Yeah, if you keep doing that, you get much more comfortable. Reluctant creators say, yes, I do watch back, and I think you then can mentally tweak things the next time you do it live. Yeah, I agree. The only way to make your next stream better is to look at the analytics that Restream provides for you right now, and to also look at yourself and understand where you can improve your delivery, your narrative, your messaging. Sometimes you're in the moment. I love that. All right, there was another comment that I wanted to get here. I'm still trying to brainstorm ideas. Subject has changed every time in the stream so quickly. You can't stay on just on one topic they're talking about. Yeah, we are definitely prioritizing the comments, and we want to make sure that we move with the flow of our viewers. We are primarily talking about pre-recorded streaming and how you can use pre-recorded lives to take advantage of the algorithms, to be more consistent, to produce more content without producing more content. How it helps to create polished experience for your viewers, because sometimes you want to be raw and authentic and sometimes you want to be polished. How it helps to test different time zones and understand when your fans are most engaged and most watching. And we have another little bit for you that we want to talk about, which is technical hell. How upload and stream allows you to avoid any kind of glitches. And if your stream has to happen and has to get everything delivered on time and right, without any disconnects and drops, then upload and stream might be your best bet. We are going to get in there in just a minute, but that's the main topic. Feel free to ask your question about everything live streaming and about pre-recorded content in general. One of the questions we're discussing right now as well is, would you watch a live stream that is pre-recorded? Are you comfortable with that? What do you think your audience will think? So feel free to share your thoughts on that. Thanks for reminding us that we are all over the place. I actually really appreciate that.
Do you think we are? I feel like we're reacting. Like this is what a live show is you react to your audience, you engage with your audience, and you go with what they're looking for. So if that means that we are gathering flowers along the way, as my mother would say, I think that's great. That's part of the live experience. If you only stay on one topic, perhaps you're not getting enough roller coaster in your live stream. That's what a live stream is. It's this lovely roller coaster ride and it's how you maintain engagement and enjoyment. And I think I know a lot of videos, if you're particularly a short video, you have to put edits in there even when they're not needed. You know, people do the jump cuts and they do zoom ins and stuff. Like I find I'll film something and then I cut it faster just so that there's more to look at and more stimulating. So the good thing about a live stream is that you can get through a bunch of topics, but also you can go back and replay it. There is the VOD, you know, there's the video that you can watch later on. So if we're moving too quick, go back and give us another little view. It's great for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that. I like this point of eye contact as well. So of course, pre-recorded video really solves this for you, because if you're recording it, you have a chance to edit, you have a chance to do another take. If it is very important for you to look the audience straight in the eyes, pre-recorded, especially if you're using tools like Elgato's teleprompters, right? That like basically give you the content, maybe give you the script, or maybe just give you little pointers to allow you to continue sounding organic and natural without feeling like too scripted. But still, you constantly look at that camera. You see yourself there, but the viewer sees you kind of like locking eyes with them. I do think personally, and maybe you'll disagree with me, that eye contact in live streaming is overrated. I think it's perfectly fine to occasionally look at your wonderful co-host. It's okay to look at your notes. Yeah. So it's okay to look at your crazy light. Yeah,
Anna isn't here. She's not there. I'm looking at the wall, but I know that's where you are.
But that's where you are. That's right? Like we trained ourselves to do this.
This is all completely fake. Me looking over it is completely fake because it makes it feel more natural. So what I wanted to say about eye contact is, when you are recording a live stream, absolutely, people understand that you're like, oh, let me just look at this over here. Oh, I'm going to pull this information up here.
Yeah, I'm like reading the chat messages.
Absolutely. Yeah. But when you're editing this into your short clips, or if you are creating live clips, or if you're making, content for later, that's when the eye contact is expected. Because if you're watching a short and the person's like, hey, it's not going to land. It's weird. One of the tricks for this is, of course, to be talking to one person. Yeah. Okay. So at the moment, you read this. I think it was the name of the person. You read this, or you read this.
Yeah.
I'm actually speaking to you right now. Like you're in my head right now, and I'm looking at you and I'm addressing you. This is how I help to maintain eye contact. And another thing is, when you are doing a FaceTime or a Google Meet or when you are talking to people, how often are you looking at yourself? How often are you looking at the other person? We're all very vain. We love looking in the mirror, and our eyes are drawn often to ourselves. So if you have a teleprompter that's got you in it, it's sometimes easier, play into that vanity of the human nature.
Yeah, I think it's okay to look and act natural. When you are talking to a person in real conversation, you're not looking at them like this at all times, right? Like you don't have this intense eye contact constantly. It's normal to look away. It's or to look at somebody else, or just to look at something that you're doing. But I do like this advice as well. If I look away because I'm live streaming and I need to do something, I just say what I'm doing. So I'm going to look up this information. I'm going to pull up that news article. I'm going to get that image for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this chat. I do love that. I think that's a great advice and a great way to.
That's also really important advice for sportscasting. So if you're going to show something on screen, tell people what you're doing. Tell people what's on screen, because there are many people that are only listening, even in a live stream. Perhaps especially in a live stream. I don't know. I consume a lot of content in the car. Actually, I watch YouTube videos in the car. I don't watch them.
You just listen to them as podcasts. And I do think that a lot of people are experiencing this live stream right now in that exact way, because they might be working and doing something else. And they just have this live stream as a separate tab. So they're working on their own thing, but they are listening to us as a podcast. And that is a perfectly fine way to do it. That's why we try to articulate whenever we show something. What are we showing? And that's a really good piece of advice and reminder. I want to highlight the Ivan Music Man comment about you can record your video and put it live on YouTube. So yes, YouTube does have a feature called YouTube Premiere, and pre-recorded streaming and streams upload and stream is basically a Premiere on steroids, right? The difference between YouTube Premiere is that it only premieres on, well, YouTube. And upload and stream allows you to do the same thing, but on 30 plus channels at the same time. So you can premiere on YouTube and Facebook and X and LinkedIn and Twitch and Instagram if you're using multiple different orientations. You could do so much more, and you could also premiere basically on multiple different YouTube channels. And if you're having panelists and guests, you could share the pairing link with them, and they can amplify and rebroadcast that premiere for you. So it's very similar in concept. And if you are a YouTuber and you're familiar with Premiere and you do that all the time, even like the concept of you premiere your video and then you are in the chat with people and you're exchanging and reacting to comments is very, very similar. So I love that you brought this up. So upload and stream is like YouTube Premiere, but way more platforms covered.
But that's not threatening, that's validating.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. I love that.
The fact that YouTube does that is validating the message we're sending out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Comment about Restream Analytics, Tracking Analytics. Do you imagine the metric time on page with people watching a live stream for an hour or more? That's actually a good one because currently most of the analytics and the metrics that we show you are coming from what the original end platforms built. And time on the page is not something that I am at least aware. The only thing that is kind of close to that is time state to watch on YouTube, which I am not sure is something that we pull in. And the reason why I am highlighting this comment is because I definitely want to make sure that our Restream Analytics product lead hears this idea. I'm not sure that we can match this metric everywhere because different platforms also think about what stay means differently, right? For some, it is if you're scrolling the feed and you kind of like hovered over a certain video for a little longer, that is considered a view. For others, you had to like actually click and open the video and like stay on that page for a certain time. So there are differences in different platforms in how they interpret the view and especially how they interpret the term stay. But stay to watch is one of the super important metrics that I monitor all the time for our shorts and for our video uploads. I do think that for live streams, because they're so long and they tend to be kind of, community comes and goes, you're engaging with different people. It is a hard metric to meet. Like you can't really judge the effectiveness of the stream because somebody stayed with us for an hour and a half. You could have many, many different people coming in and getting a ton of value, but just like hopping in and hopping off. Like that's the nature of live stream. It's just like, think about it, if you're watching a game, right? If you're watching a long TV show, right? It's okay for you to just occasionally step out. Like you're not going to be constantly there glued to the screen because that's the nature of a long-term video experience. But I do like the idea that you think about this metric, that like what does time on page, time on stream mean in terms of engagement and in terms of the intent of that audience. So I would definitely bring this up to our team and see what they can pull in and maybe they can enrich our analytics with that. That's a good idea. I love it.
This is absolutely an area for me to be to be educated and to learn. So I'm interested to hear. I was interested to take in that answer actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So very quick one question from LinkedIn before we talk a little bit about technical hell and start wrapping up. I know this question gets asked a lot, but are there any plans for Restream to have an app for Android and iPhone? Right now, you do have a full studio experience in your web browser. I know it's not ideal. It's not as polished and curated as an application, but you do have an option to use Restream from your mobile phone. Now, your mobile phone is pretty small compared to your computer, and especially a powerful computer that you would typically need to power live streams, especially with a lot of graphics, multiple guests, multiple orientations, local recordings, 4K streaming, and things like that. So it is not a trivial task to create an app that will be very effective. That is why currently, as of today, the Restream app is not on our roadmap. We are planning to continue improving the mobile browser experience, and we are looking in the direction of how to build some version that would work maybe for guests to join from mobile, very easy, but to host a high-quality live stream. As of today, with today's infrastructure, we still recommend a laptop. It is it is just going to make your content look better if you think about it from the perspective of a better internet, ideally cable, like Ethernet plugged in, more powerful CPU, more powerful computer. So that's just something for you to keep in mind. But the browser-based is working for situations when you have to be somewhere in real life. And that's also another thing that I like to recommend to people when they are saying, but what my use case is, I go on the street and I take interviews, right? Like I ask people their opinion about something. I go and film the races or some kind of like wildlife or hiking or something in the nature, right? My recommendation to that is film that on your phone while you have your phone. Give it the best quality that your phone can support, and then come back to a place where you have good internet connection, upload it on your computer, and then schedule it to go live with Upload and Stream. That is going to give your audience a really good kind of feeling like they are there. It might not entirely match the timing when you are there, but it will still appear as live, and you can jump in the chat and you can still have a conversation with them. But that is one of the things that I would do. If I were to create a live stream of how I hiked Mountain Fuji, I would record it on my phone, get into my hotel room, and then schedule it to go live and then interact with the audience. That's one way to do it for you to consider. But yes, we're thinking about the app all the time. It's just not yet something that we prioritized for this roadmap. But thanks for the question. Good stuff.
You hiked Mount Fuji?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
It kicked my bottom.
That's
because
okay.
of the altitude.
You can curse. I'll cut it out for the.
No, it's I am an experienced hiker, and I've summited a lot of different mountains, but this one was one of the hardest hikes ever because of the altitude. And you think you are a badass and you can do anything until you are looking at the summit and it's so close, and you make 10 steps and you are out of air and you're lightheaded and you don't know if you're gonna like vomit.
So
but
it's not really hiking per se. It's more mountaineering, is what
it's
you're
mountaineering.
saying.
Yeah, it was very and the deceiving thing about Fuji is that it's so it looks so like kind of like not
Yes.
It's not flat, but it like looks like really nice and like mellow.
Smooth.
But it's just not.
Looks like you could slide down onto a toboggan.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you should do it, but you need to train. That's my pro recommendation for anyone planning to summit Fuji. That's awesome. And I guess one last question here real quick. So we can chat in a live stream of a pre-recorded video when it premieres. Yes, you absolutely can. There are two ways to use Upload and Stream. Set it and forget it. Set it live and throw your computer into a river, or start your stream and jump in the chat and engage and talk. Don't worry about the content and the delivery because it's already edited and polished, and actually focus on the questions, give deeper answers by typing them into the chat. So absolutely like in Premiere, but on all platforms at the same time. And you don't have to have all these tabs open because you can simply chat in our aggregated chat space. Good stuff.
Throwing your laptop in the river is, of course, optional.
Optional. Absolutely
And
optional.
I would probably recommend not doing it, otherwise you won't be able to continue to live stream.
Yes, and then, yeah, absolutely. So
Unless you have a
think
massive
twice.
catalogue of pre-records, but that's anyway.
And that's already all scheduled. So one quick benefit of pre-recorded streaming that helps you to not worry about internet. Let's hear you out, Charles. I think this time it's going to be a different shirt.
With a big event, one tech fail can really mess with your credibility. So, people who can't afford to mess up don't actually broadcast live. Think Apple events, they are famously flawless. Drop connections, damaged microphone cable, or simply bad weather, there is no second take for a live stream. So record it, edit it, clean it, polish it, and Restream will handle the broadcast. Upload and Stream keeps your video safe in cloud storage and broadcasts it live whenever and wherever you want. Viewers get a perfect live premiere experience while you get to experience it with them
in the live chat, I guess. Okay. So that's a pretty straightforward use case. Basically, if you cannot afford to lose your connection, if you cannot afford to have a broken microphone cable, I like that analogy. Actually, that's something different from what we usually talk about, because we talk about computer, batteries, internet, of course, power loss, like all that stuff. But then there is just something as simple as a broken mic, as like a broken light.
We had a live stream recently where I had some
microphone challenges. Yeah,
I wonder why that example popped into my head.
That is probably why. But yeah, like all of those things can be easily avoided if you pre-record. Again, it is a trade-off. You do lose some authenticity by exchanging it with reliability, but sometimes reliability is what matters the most. So check it out. You can find more information about Upload and Stream on Restream page, restream.io. If you go to products, Upload and Stream, one of the options in our product drop-down menu. You can learn more about it on the landing page. You can also scan this QR code and immediately create an account and basically try it out. If your account is brand new, it's actually going to give you a free trial. If you would like to get a free trial, you can reach out to our support team. They should be able to set you up with something to test. And if you need more storage, more longer videos, something closer to 24/7, then you can definitely reach out to our sales team and talk about custom plans on our enterprise accounts. So that is basically the wrap. That is our show. I am going to... I know we already kind of sort of announced that, but we are planning to talk about our new Clips editor very, very soon. So our next show is going to be a pre-recorded best of episodes of our live streams, which is something that, Charles, you had a few thoughts about it. Like we thought about how we're going to handle that, right? Like what were your kind of ideas about like how we're going to build that show? So we have our best offs, right? Like we have our live streams, we have our already condensed versions and some tutorials and guides. So how are we going to make our next Wednesday marathon of best shows look and sound as real and as cool as possible?
Well, I'm actually gonna edit the marathon. I'm gonna take all of the shows and put them into one timeline and actually edit it together. I was thinking about maybe I could put some of the shorts in between or something like that, and then stream that all in one go. But the reason I want to do that is so that I can loop the whole thing, so that we can actually send that that entire playlist out several times, which is something that currently I could add those videos perhaps more than once, but that's going to take up storage and so on. So I want to have more control over it. So I'm gonna edit them down I'll edit it into one long video, and that means I can also watch it through and double check it, and it's more eyes on it to make sure that it's all working perfectly. And then when we play that out as an upload and stream, I will be there in the chat. Depending on how many times we loop it, like if we make it last hours and hours, I probably won't be in the chat for the entire time because I got other things to do. Is that what you were?
I think that is. I think that's a good little example from our own life experience, because we do plan to stitch together multiple shows. I think it's about 18 shows. We tried to count how many weeks we had. And that's about 18 shows that we will be stitching together. We will already take the condensed versions, and in between we will show the tutorials and guides that were relevant to those shows. And then, yes, we are planning to use our own looping feature. So it covers a little bit extra time zones, because a lot of times we hear from our community that is based in Europe that it's hard for them to make this live stream, because in order to accommodate our US time zone, we have to go live pretty late in the evening for some of them. So we'll probably schedule it to go live a little earlier so we can capture some of the European evening and then transition into the US late afternoon. So that is the plan. We invite you to come in and join us, send some comments, interact with Charles. Maybe we will have a few other moderators in there. And that will actually give you an idea of how that actually looks. Especially if you've been a regular on this show, you can see the difference between pre-recorded and live. You can see how the interaction goes in chat versus when we actually take your questions and voice the answers. And hopefully that will inspire you to build your own marathon of best of episodes, because you make so much great content. All of you are very creative people. And it's just a shame that the only time that content gets to see the light and the viewers and the eyeballs of your community is that one moment when you go live. So we do believe that repurposing is a way to free up your time, give something delightful for your audience and community, and also give this algorithm the signal that you are consistent and you're creating all the time. So that QR code right here will let you start your journey with Upload and Stream. And like I said, we can always reach out to our support team or to us for more. Our co-producer
Maybe next week when we're perhaps next week when that live stream is happening, we could have some of the tech team and dev team, answering questions in the chat.
Answering questions in the chat. Yes, I think we should assign some folks to be there and to take turns. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. So yeah, definitely check us out.
But there's one person that won't be there.
It's not going to be me. I don't know, actually. I might be so interested and curious that I might actually open it and just look. But I'm not going to make any promises because, I will be away. So great. Great show today. Thank you so much to my co-host Charles, who's always with me, ready to jump into this craziness of avalanche of questions.
If I'm not here, sitting here looking at you, then I am actually here, in the background. So I'm always here
in the background somewhere. I love it too. It was super, super cool to co-host with you. And out of all things, I probably miss tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the time when I'm usually live. But yes, everyone needs a break. So that's all good stuff. Our moderator today was Grant. He was answering a bunch of questions and dropped a bunch of links in YouTube. Thank you so much, man. You're so awesome. We really appreciate your help. Our co-producer behind the scenes was Dmitro. He was watching for the comments and for everything else that we need to improve in studio for other co-producers in the future. Romario was clipping and posting our live clips as we were going. So if you enjoyed any of the highlights while we're still live, or if you got into the show because you saw a highlight, that's thanks to Romario. And we do have the live clipping feature for your content as well. You can check it out. And thank you so much for all of you who chose to show up today and hang out with us. We really appreciate your time. We would really appreciate you subscribing to our channel if you have not already. Follow us on other channels if you're not on YouTube. And a version of us will see you next Wednesday, and we will be back live in a week from there. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. It's been great. What a fun week.
What a fun week.